All right, good afternoon, y'all, and welcome back to another edition of the Wildcats and Then Some podcast. It is Wednesday, November 24th. You know what that means. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Yeah, welcome back to the Wildcats and Then Some podcast. I'm your host, Deshaun. This is your number one source for all things Kentucky Wildcats, as well as sports and pop culture in general, but with a twist. See, I'm coming at y'all with a rational point of view, not with the sensational, overzealous bullshit like ESPN. Anyways, let me start off this podcast by eating some crow. Last time I recorded, Kentucky had lost to Georgia, and that was our first loss of the season. I went out here and claimed that Kentucky wouldn't lose any more games for the rest of the season. Or if we did lose, we would only lose one more game. But we ended up losing three in a row, including the Georgia game. We lost to Georgia, then we lost to Mississippi State, and we lost a heartbreaker to Tennessee. A game that I feel like we should have won, but can't go back and change it. But on the bright side, we are 8-3, and we play Louisville on Saturday. I'm not saying that there's no way we'll lose to Louisville, because yeah, it could happen, but I think we're gonna win. Like, I'm not a betting man, but I'm not gonna pick against Kentucky, even even if there's no chance of us winning. I'm not gonna pick against Kentucky, especially when we're playing against our biggest rival, Louisville. Um, it's gonna be a good game. I don't think I don't think it'll be an easy victory, but I mean, you never know. Last time we played Louisville, we beat them pretty bad, and Lynn Bowden only threw like four passing yards. He ran wild on them. I think he scored like four rushing touchdowns. Our defense, I think, scored a couple touchdowns. It was ugly. Now, I think we'll beat Louisville for a few reasons. Number one, I think we have a better quarterback. Now, Malik Cunningham, he is good. I mean, to me, he's, if I was to describe him, I would describe him as diet Lamar Jackson. Because not only is he Louisville's leading passer, but he's also their leading rusher. I think he's got like 980 yards rushing and 80 touchdowns. 18, not 80, excuse me. 18 rushing touchdowns as well as 18 passing touchdowns. He good, but I think Will Levis is just a little bit better than Malik Cunningham. I think we'll win because we have better receivers. I think we'll win because our defense is better, and really, I think our team in general is better. I mean, we're 8-3. Louisville is 6-5. Now, granted, we may not be. I'm not saying we're the greatest team in college football because we're not, but we're good enough to beat Louisville. If I was to make a prediction, I would say Kentucky wins this one 42-21. I think Will Levis will throw for 300 plus yards and three touchdowns. Wandale Robinson will get over 1,000 yards and score a touchdown. We might even score a defensive touchdown too. But that's my prediction. I think it'll be 42-21. Now, assuming we win against Louisville on Saturday, we'll finish the season 9-3. Now, yeah, we're not going to go to the SEC championship, but we should at least get a good bowl game. Last time, I think it was 2017, or maybe no, I think it was 2018. We went 9-3, and we went to the Citrus Bowl and defeated Penn State. I think that's probably what we're gonna get this time. Again, if we go 9-3, the Citrus Bowl. Now, who will be playing? I don't know, but I mean, the Citrus Bowl is better than the Music City Bowl or some of these other low-level bowl games that Kentucky has played in the past. So I can't wait till bowl season. This has been, although we didn't go 11-1 like I predicted, this has been a fun football season. One of the best seasons we've had in a while. I think we could be just as good next year, maybe even a little bit better. But for one, we need Will Levis to come back. I personally think Will Levis is good enough for the NFL, but he needs another year of seasoning under his belt. I mean, I mean, he's not bad. I mean, he threw for over 2,400 yards. He's got 23 touchdown passes, I believe, versus 12 picks. But Will, he kind of struggles against the good teams. I mean, he was great against the mediocre teams he played this year, like Louisiana Monroe, New Mexico State. But he kind of struggled. He struggled against Georgia, struggled against Mississippi State, who wasn't that good. He was great against Tennessee, but some calls went against us, and Tennessee ended up winning that game. But I do think Will is good enough for the NFL. He's got the size for a quarterback. He's got good enough arm talent. He's got a little bit of mobility too. He's actually, I think, third or fourth on the team with 270 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. I mean, he's not a Lamar Jackson. I mean, nobody is Lamar Jackson, but Will can run a little bit. But if he wants to for sure get drafted, I think he needs to come back to Kentucky for another year. Now, Wan'Dale Robinson, if he does leave, I mean, he'll be fine. He'll get drafted. Maybe not in the first round, but Wan'Dale Robinson, if he does decide to enter the NFL draft, he'll be a steal for whoever gets him, whether it be in the second round, third round, or later. I mean, he's fast. He's a good route runner. He's got good hands. He's not a very big receiver. I think he's like 5'10", 190, which is kind of small, but not too small. He'll be just fine in the NFL. Many other receivers who are his size have made it and done fine. He kind of reminds me of Randall Cobb, which Cobb has made a career as a solid number 2 or even a slot receiver. He also reminds me a little bit of Brandon Cooks, who I think he's on the Texans now. I mean, Cooks has played with the Saints, the Patriots, the Rams, and now obviously Houston. He's had 1,000 yards in every season he's played, except for like 2 maybe. Brandon Cooks, he's a small receiver too. I think he's the same size as Wan'Dale, 5'10", 190, but he's been productive in his NFL career. I think, Josh Pascal's a senior, I believe, so he won't be back next year. DeAndre Square, I believe, is also a senior, so he won't be back. I think Darian Kennard and Dare Rosenthal. I think both of them will get drafted. Now Dare, I mean, they'll probably be like second, third round draft picks, but I think both Rosenthal and Kennard will be starting offensive linemen in the NFL. I don't think there's anyone else on the team who has NFL potential, but we'll be fine next year. As long as Will comes back, we'll be fine. Now, Bo Allen, yes, he has played a little bit this year, but mostly in garbage time. Do I think Bo Allen could be a starting quarterback in the SEC? Maybe. But if Will comes back for his senior year, Kentucky will definitely go 9-3. Kentucky should go 9-3 again next year, maybe even 10-2. But yeah, speaking of, while I'm still talking about Kentucky football, my worst fear about Mark Stoops has come true. I always said that, man, if Mark Stoops becomes too good of a coach, that other big time programs are going to try to pry him away from Kentucky. And sure enough, that's exactly what is happening. LSU is looking for a new coach. And from what I'm hearing, the guy that LSU really wants is Mark Stoops. I mean, Mark Stoops, yeah, he's not the greatest coach in college football, but he is a very good coach. He is underrated, underappreciated. Me personally, I think Mark Stoops is one of the top 20 coaches in college football. So I understand why LSU wants him, but hey, stay away. Go away, LSU. Mark Stoops is our coach. You can't have him. Personally, I mean, I don't blame LSU for firing Ed Orgeron. I mean, to me, Ed Orgeron got lucky when he won the national championship in 2019. That LSU team was loaded with talent. You had Joe Burrow, who ended up winning the Heisman Trophy. Now he's the starting quarterback for the Bengals. Yeah, they had Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Both of them are starting receivers in the NFL now. Chase is with the Bengals, and Justin Jefferson is with the Vikings. Thaddeus Moss was on that team. I think he plays for the Bengals now as well. Patrick Queen, I believe, was on that team. He's a starting linebacker for LSU, or not LSU, excuse me. Patrick Queen is the starting linebacker for the Ravens now. Grant Delpit and Greedy Williams, who were defensive backs on that LSU championship team. Both of them, I believe, are playing for the Cleveland Browns now. So there was a lot of talent on that LSU team. And Ed got lucky because, I mean, you've seen what he's done at LSU without that talent. He ain't done shit. I mean, LSU, I don't know what LSU's record is, but we beat them this year. Beat them pretty easily, too. I think LSU is. I think they're 7-4. I don't know for sure, but 7-4 is not good. At least not for LSU. Keep in mind, LSU. This is a football program that is used to winning. LSU, at least in my lifetime, has won 3 national championships. They won in 2003, they won in 2007, and then they won in 2019. Now, they got 4 national championships overall, but their first one was in 1958, I believe. And yeah, most people my age, excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah, I'm 32 years old, so nobody in my age group was alive when LSU won their first national championship in 58. But like I was saying, in my lifetime, LSU has won 3 national championships and they put a lot of players in the NFL. So they're not used to losing. For LSU, an 8-4 season is a bad season. For Kentucky, 8-4, 9-3, that's a good year in football. So LSU's not going to settle for 7-5 and 8-4 every other year. They want to win national championships. They want to be in the college football playoffs. So yeah, they were right for letting go of Ed Orgeron because he's just not a good coach. But all I'm saying, LSU is Mark Stoops is ours. Stay away from him. Go after somebody else. I mean, from what I'm hearing, Mark Stoops is like number 1 on the list. But they're also considering Jimbo Fisher and Bill O'Brien. Now, yeah, go after Bill O'Brien, please. I mean, he may not have been a very good NFL head coach, but Bill O'Brien is, I believe he's Alabama's offensive coordinator this year, and Alabama's offense is looking really good. So go after Bill O'Brien. Let us keep Mark Stoops. Or if you don't want Bill O'Brien, go after Jimbo Fisher. Texas A&M, they'll find somebody to replace Jimbo. So please, leave Mark Stoops alone. But, all right, now that I've talked about football, I'm going to shift my focus to basketball. Now, once again, I got to eat crow because last time I recorded, I said Kentucky will beat Duke. Kentucky will get payback for when Duke beat us by 30 3 years ago, but we ended up losing. I mean, it was a close game. We lost 79-71, but we just couldn't pull ahead of Duke. It's like every time we got close, they would just pull it away. I was following the game on my phone. We was down by 4 points. We was down by 4. I'm thinking, okay, cool. We're about to take the lead and win the game. And then I look again a couple minutes later, and we're down by 10. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Now, I'm not the kind of fan that blames the referees every time we lose, but that was some bullshit, if you ask me. The referees definitely helped Duke win that game. Now, I'm not saying that Duke isn't good. They are. I'm not saying Duke doesn't have talent, because they do. But the referees helped their asses out. I get it. Yes, one team is going to shoot more free throws than the other. I understand that. But Duke shot 23 free throws, and Kentucky only shot 7. And that was ridiculous. I don't care what you say. That was bullshit. I could understand if we were playing at Cameron Indoor Stadium, but we was playing on a neutral court. I've never seen 2 teams like Kentucky and Duke play on a neutral court and one team has that big of a free throw discrepancy from the other team. Like, it's ridiculous. And people say, "Oh, but Kentucky gets all the calls at Rupp Arena." Like, shut up. Like, we don't get that many calls compared to Duke. Like, shit. Come on. Let me, just for reference. Hold on. Let me, just so y'all know I'm not lying here. Let me pull up Kentucky's last game against Albany, a game that Kentucky won 86-61. All right, bear with me now. So yeah, keep in mind, yes, 23 free throws versus 7. Duke shot 16 more free throws than us. That's ridiculous. Okay, so Kentucky, we played Albany. Our last game was against Albany. Like I said, we won 86-61. Albany shot 13 free throws. We shot 22. I mean, that's 9 free throws. That's a 9 free throw difference. I mean, 9 is a big number, but I mean, 9 ain't that big of a discrepancy. All right, so let's see. What about against Ohio? When we played Ohio, let's see. Kentucky shot 17 free throws, and Ohio shot 10. Again, not a big discrepancy. Well, let's see. What was the free throw discrepancy when we played against Mount St. Mary's? Huh. Man, Mount St. Mary's actually shot more free throws than Kentucky, but we beat Mount St. Mary's 80-55. Mount St. Mary's shot 21 free throws, and we shot 8. But I guess it didn't matter because we won by 55. Yeah, we won by 25. Let's see. And then the Robert Morris game, we beat Robert Morris 100-60. Let's see. Robert Morris shot 8 free throws, while Kentucky shot 12. So yeah, y'all can quit all that hollering about, oh, Kentucky always gets all the calls. Like, nah, we ain't. Yeah, so far this year we haven't shot 16 more free throws than the opposing team. That was ridiculous. Yeah, don't get me wrong, Duke has some talent. I mean, Paolo Banchero might be the number one pick in the 2022 draft. It'll, based on what I've seen and heard so far this year, I think Banchero or Chet Holmgren will go number one. Trevor Keels, he's looked good this year. I think he keeps it up, he'll be a first round draft pick. Wendell Moore, he's probably going to get drafted. I forget that other guy, but he looked pretty good against us too. But Duke's got talent. I'm not saying there's no way they should have beat us, but that was bullshit. If we play Duke again in the postseason, hopefully we'll beat them, and hopefully the referees will at least be a little more lenient towards us and not give Duke 16 more free throws, because that was bullshit. I don't care what anybody says. Now, yeah, right now I think with our winning against Albany, I think that pushes Kentucky to 5-1. We look really good this year. Now, I'm not gonna make any crazy predictions. I'm not gonna say that we're gonna win the national championship, but Kentucky looks good. A lot better than what we were last year. I think last year, through our first 6 games, we was 1-5, and we dropped out of the top 25 and never got back in. But there's a this year's team clearly is better than last year's team for a few reasons. Number one, we actually have a point guard. We've really got 2 point guards. We got 2 guys. I don't know. Actually, no, I'd say we have 3 guys who can, at any given moment, can run the offense and keep everything flowing. Xavier Wheeler, who's our leader in assists, Tata Washington, and Davian Mintz. Of course, Xavier is our best playmaker. He understands the system best. He's the guy that sets up everybody else. I really like Xavier. I mean, I wasn't too excited about. I wasn't, like, oh my God, we got Xavier Wheeler. Yes, but he's been a great addition. I'm really glad that he chose Kentucky instead of staying at Georgia, because Xavier is a hell of a playmaker. And not only that, he can also get to the rim at will, and he's a decent shooter. We didn't have that at the point guard position last year. I mean, yeah, we had Mintz, but Mintz wasn't quite the playmaker that he is this year. And we had Devin Askew, who wasn't good. I mean, I wish him the best of luck. I mean, I hope he does well at Texas, but truth be told, Devin Askew sucked last year at Kentucky. It is what it is. But yeah, Xavier, he's good. I mean, he won the McDonald's All American coming out of high school. He is a small point guard too. He's only like 5'8", but Xavier is good. He's got high basketball IQ. He can get to the rim at will. He can make his jumpers when he needs to make them. He makes everybody around him better. And Ty Ty, yeah, I was excited about him. And we haven't had last time we had a good point guard was a really good point guard, I should say. Last time we had a really good point guard was Emmanuel Quickly. Because yeah, after Quickly left, I mean, which wasn't that long ago, but yeah, again, Askew, he just wasn't good. But now we've got two, maybe even three good point guards on the team with Xavier, Ty, and Davian. Now Ty, I think he needs a little bit of work, but he'll be in the NBA one day. I mean, he's probably our most athletic guard on the team. He's fast, he's quick, he's get by any defender. He's got a good in between game. He can finish at the rim. He's got the floaters, the runners. He makes his free throws. He's a good defender. The biggest thing he needs to work on is his 3-point shooting. But against Albany, I think he went 2 of 3 from the 3-point line. However, I do think Ty will become at least a good enough shooter to keep defenses honest going forward in his career because he is a good free throw shooter. I mean, most guys who can make their free throws typically are good enough 3-point shooters to keep the defense honest. Now, I'm not saying Ty has to be Stephen Curry, but he does need to get better at shooting threes. That's all I'm saying. We got guys that can score. Ty, Kellen Grady, Oscar Shibwe, Davian. We got shooters. Davian, Dante Allen, Kellen Grady, CJ Frederick, but unfortunately, CJ won't be able to play with us this year because he got injured. But we have shooters and scorers. That's another thing we have this year that we didn't have last year. Excuse me. I mean, last year, I believe BJ Boston was our leading scorer, but BJ averaged, I think, 13 points per game and only made 35% of his field goal attempts, which that's not going to cut it. I mean, you're not going to win a lot of games when your leading scorer can only make 35% of his shot attempts, and it showed last year. You're not going to win a lot of games when you can't shoot the 3 ball, which it definitely showed last year. Besides Dante Allen and Davian Mintz, nobody on the team could shoot threes. Nobody on the team could hit their free throws consistently. But that's not a problem this year. And Kellen Grady, I think we need to get him more shots, but Kellen Grady is a damn good shooter. I think he's shooting 50% from the 3-point line this year. And I think he's shooting like 80% or better from the free throw line. Dante Allen's back. Davian Mintz is back. Xavier, he can make shots when he needs to. Ty, he's been shooting the ball better these last few games. We've got some shooters. Another thing we didn't have one thing we have this year that we didn't have last year is a good big man. I ain't no disrespect to Olivier Sarr, but he was a bust. I was thinking he was going to come into Kentucky and be pretty good because the year before when he was at Wake Forest, he was 3rd team All ACC. And then he comes to Kentucky and was just decent. I mean, he showed some flashes of brilliance, but I didn't see an All ACC team player in Olivier Sarr last year. Now, Oscar Shibwe, he's balling. Unless he just falls off a cliff the rest of the season, he'll make the All SEC first team without question. I think on the season, he's averaging, I think, 14 rebounds along with 13 points. He had 20 20 rebounds against Duke and against Robert Morris. And he's had at least 10 rebounds every game we played this year. Oscar Tshiebwe, he's cold. He balling. He's arguably our best player this year. I don't know what the other players in the SEC are doing, but if I had to pick one player to win SEC Player of the Year, it would be Oscar Tshiebwe. My only thing with Oscar is I think he has the talent to get to the NBA, but if he for sure wants to get to the NBA, Calipari need to let him shot that jumper. Because Coach Cal said Oscar can shoot, but from what I've seen so far, I'm not seeing a big man that can shoot. I guess it's because Calipari doesn't let him shoot like he should. But I don't know. But yeah, having scores, having shooters, having guys that can hit their free throws, having big men that are good and that can rebound definitely makes a big difference. But yeah, if Kentucky is going to be a Final Four team, well, we got to be healthy. Against Albany, we only had 8 scholarship players available. So we got to get our team healthy. We got to keep doing what we do best. We got to push the tempo, make our open shots, make our free throws, which that has been our Achilles heel every freaking year since Calipari's been the coach. Free throws. But I don't think free throws is going to be a problem for this year's team because we got, I think, 5 or 6 guys on the team. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating here. We got at least 4 guys on the team who are 80% or better from the free throw line. So free throws shouldn't be a problem this year. Now, our biggest problem is when Oscar Tshiebwe goes to the bench, we kind of struggle on offense and on the defensive end. Now, Damian Collins, I like him. He's long, he's athletic, but he's raw. Bryce Hopkins, he's a little raw too, and as well as undersized. He's only 6'6". When Oscar goes to the bench, we struggle on both ends of the floor. But I think as the season goes on, we'll get better as a team. And Damian, I think, will get better too. So if Oscar needs a break, we won't fall off a cliff. Can't forget about Keon. He's improved dramatically this year. He's actually a good shooter now, and he's a good finisher too. Now he's not. I wouldn't say he's a scorer, but Keon can get the job done on both ends of the floor. So to all my Kentucky fans out there, this is gonna be a good season. So relax. It's not gonna be a repeat of last year, as we can see. We will be fine. I'm not saying we're going to win the national championship, but there's a good chance we'll win the SEC. There's a good chance we'll get a top 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. If we win the SEC and only lose like 4 or 5 games on the year, it's a good chance we'll get a number 1 seed. So, again, Big Blue Nation, just sit back, relax. It's going to be a good season. We're going to be just fine. As long as nobody gets hurt, we'll be fine. It's going to be A-okay. While I'm still on basketball, yeah. Ennis Cantor, who is a former Kentucky Wildcat, has been in the news lately. He'd been calling out Nike and LeBron and Michael Jordan, and it's just been crazy. Now, me personally, while I agree with Enes Kanter's stance on China, but the way you're going about it is all wrong. Like, if you want LeBron and Jordan to be on your side and join your cause against the Chinese government, you can't go dissing them. Like, come on now. You should know better than that, Ennis. If you want... Okay. If I was LeBron James and Ennis Cantor was coming at me sideways, coming at my neck, throwing dirt on my name, I would have been like, I'll tell Ennis straight up, like, why should I help you? You over here dissing me, throwing dirt on my name? Man, fuck you. That's what I would say if I was LeBron James. But LeBron's better than that. LeBron a little bit more mature than I am. Like, you can't be all, oh, LeBron James chooses money over morals. LeBron is bowing down to the Chinese government and expect LeBron to help you. Like, seriously? You, see, Ennis, your issue, your you need to channel your anger towards the Chinese government. Your issue is not with LeBron James. Like, I don't. A lot of people, mainly conservative white people, are taking Ennis Cantor's side. But the funny thing is, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Conservative white people don't give a fuck about China. They don't give a fuck about anyone that isn't white. They don't give a fuck about anyone that isn't a white Republican, I should say. They don't give a damn about China. These conservative white males and females, all they want is for any excuse to trash LeBron James. And what a better way to do that than to say, oh, he bows down to China. That's all they want. They just looking for something that they can use against LeBron. Like Ennis, LeBron, and Michael Jordan, for that fact, they do not control what goes on in China. LeBron does not make the laws in China. LeBron does not enforce the laws in China. Jordan doesn't enforce the laws or make the laws in China. So you're directing your anger at the wrong people. Yeah, the Chinese government enforces the labor laws in China. But if you really want to make a stance against the Chinese government and Nike, I mean, you could quit playing in the NBA because Nike is the outfitter for literally every NBA team. Every NBA team got the Nike check on their logo, except for the Charlotte Hornets. They have a Jordan Jumpman logo on theirs, but Jordan is a subsidiary of Nike, so it's kind of the same thing. But Ennis, I mean, if you're that pressed about Nike and using slave labor, you could just, again, you could quit. I mean, you could stop wearing Nike because that, I mean, being against Nike but wearing Nike, that doesn't help your cause. And the reason why I brought up white conservatives using this to trash LeBron is because white conservatives don't give a fuck about China. I'm sorry for repeating myself, but it's just the cold hard truth. They don't give a fuck about China. They pretend like they care, but they really don't. I mean, I could understand if Nike was the only business who produced some of their goods in China, but they're not. Most smartphones are made in China. Most of the electronics that you use in your house are made in China. A lot of the clothes that you wear are made in China. Yeah, here's a news flash to all y'all who are bashing Nike. Nike is not the only sports apparel company that makes some of their products in China. Under Armour does too. I bet you didn't know that. New Balance, yeah, they're lying. When New Balance said they make all their products in the USA, they were lying. Some of their products are made in China. Adidas, some of their products are made in China. Apple, Samsung, Google. I mean, there's many others. That's just a short list. What I'm trying to say is, unless you plan on boycotting Apple and Samsung and all these other businesses that make some of their products in China, stop with the fake outrage. You're not really upset at Nike. You're just looking for some bullshit ass excuse just so you can bash LeBron James. Because if you really want to take a stand against the Chinese government, yeah, you should make all your own products, make your own clothes, make your own electronics. I mean, unless you do that, your outrage is fake. Now, I'm not saying you have to boycott every company that makes products in China. But if you're only singling out Nike, but you're not mad at anyone else who does the same thing, your outrage is bullshit. Yeah. If you don't like what I'm saying, tough luck. I don't give a fuck. Your outrage is a bunch of bullshit. I have no problem saying that. You don't care. You really don't. If you did care, you could do something yourself. But because actions speak louder than words. But the fact that y'all only singling out Nike just shows me that you're just faking the funk. You really don't give a shit. So I don't want to hear shit from white conservatives, especially after this whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing. He If you haven't heard by now, Kyle Rittenhouse was all charges were dropped against him, which I think is bullshit. I mean I I think the justice system in the United States, as well as the self defense laws of the United States, need to be abolished and rewritten. Maybe it's just me, but that was not self defense. I'm not saying you don't have the right to defend yourself, but if you put yourself in a willingly put yourself in a hostile situation and provoke people, that is not self defense. You are not a victim when you purposely put yourself in a hostile situation and provoke people. You are an instigator. Kyle Rittenhouse was an instigator. Don't care what the verdict was. He instigated that shit, and he should be behind bars for the rest of his life for murder. But of course, I mean, if you're a conservative white male in this country, you can get away with damn near anything. So, I mean, the verdict doesn't surprise me, but still pisses me off. But it's alright. I mean, karma has a way of getting to bad people. I mean, it may not happen right away, but even if it's 10 years, 20 years down the line, karma will get him. It will. Trust me. It will get him. Anyways, y'all, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Enjoy your Thanksgiving week. Spend time with your family. Don't spread COVID. I'm not saying you gotta wear a mask around your family and whatnot, but just be careful out there. Not just COVID, but just be careful in general. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. I'm out.